Check 1 2 1 2, a little more. I've only been ghosted one time. It wasn't here. My experience happened just a few blocks from here. I was working here every night, having the best time of my life. I lived on Doheny, not too far from here. I had a job on the Man Show as a writer for Comedy Central, and I was like, just got my first Porsche. I was living this hotshot Hollywood life, just some punk from Newark, New Jersey. Like, I couldn't believe my shit was working. And I was in the West Coast, and I was staying on Idina Menzel's couch for a month because I didn't have my own apartment, and I looked for apartments. And they showed me this one apartment, ninth floor, and I loved it. Beautiful view of Hollywood, right? And then I said, I'll take it. And the lady, Sylvia, she was the agent, she says, I have to disclose that the previous tenant killed himself. Huh. And I felt this weird energy, it just sort of shiver. And I said, thank you very much, and I didn't rent it. A couple days later, I'm at Adina's couch, my back hurts, I really need to find an apartment. Sylvia calls me, she says, same floor, different apartment. I go over with my manager, rent it on the spot. I'm having so much fun. Beautiful balcony. I smoke cigars every night on the balcony, write jokes for my writing jobs on TV, like chicks, parties. It was like, wow, I can't believe, like, I'm that Hollywood douchebag that I used to make fun of back in New York. Right. That I used to make fun of in the Woody Allen movies. Now suddenly I'm living that life and I'm like, this is so much fun. And my neighbor, finally that apartment's empty forever. Finally somebody rents it. And this guy, you know, I meet him in the elevator, he's a waiter, he's an actor. His name's Rob. I said, you know, person, they told you, right? You rented that apartment? He's like, yeah, they gave me a good break on rent. Nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Now, a year goes by, and only time I'd ever see Rob, he'd just be in his apartment, always by himself. I'd always have friends over. He'd always be by himself. He had this lonely life. And once in a while, he would just be dancing around naked and whatever. Or another time, he'd just be eating by himself, and I'd catch his eye from across the courtyard. And we'd give a little wink. We were both sort of like starting out in show business. But my thing was working, and he was struggling. I go off on this road trip, I do a gig, I come back 2 weeks later, the building's all different. There's nobody playing tennis, nobody at the pool. There's a weird vibe, you know, you just like an energy of like, is it a holiday? I don't realize. What's going on? Where is everybody? I go down, I talk to the door guy, the security guy. I said, what's going on? And he's like, you didn't hear? I go, what? He goes, your neighbor. I go, my neighbor? Rob, the actor guy. I go, what happened? He jumped just like the guy did the previous tenant. I go, what? 8 in the morning, everybody in the building could see it. There's a spot. You know, I got chills. And I realized no one's using their balcony. My balcony, I shut it down. It was too weird. 2 people from the same apartment. It's just like, wow, Hollywood's tough. Suddenly stuff starts happening in my apartment. Weird shit starts happening. I'm laying in bed and I start hearing, ooh, like weird fucking noises. I'm not even a believer. I'm a cynical guy, and I'm just, ooh, and I go, oh my God, I must have left the balcony open, you know. And I realized, no, I haven't opened that fucking balcony in days. And I'm too creeped out. There's no one out there. This noise keeps happening. Ooh, it gets louder and louder where I feel something. And I make it through the night, and I'm telling my buddies at work, and they're laughing at me. I'm at the Man Show. They're all like, you're fucking crazy, whatever. They thought it was a big joke. But this keeps happening. Every night, weird shit's happening. And I'm feeling a presence of someone in my area. It all culminated on this night where a picture, little stuff is happening on the balcony. Little dust bunnies are coming up 9 stories and just dropping shit on my balcony. It's like angry. And all of a sudden, one night, I have a big picture that I bought in Hawaii. John Lennon painted of himself as the Statue of Liberty, and it's bang! It's lifting up off the wall by itself. And I'm like shivering. Damn. Shivering. And I was already telling people I think something's weird in my apartment. I'm already like, I think I need to find another apartment. And I wouldn't talk about it in the apartment. I respected this, what I felt was a tortured soul. Yeah. And I summoned the courage to go look at this painting. And boom, boom, it's hitting it harder. It's not breaking it. It's dropping it just like somebody who could tell that the glass would break if they dropped it. And there's nothing that would explain what's happening and why I'm feeling this. And I'm too scared to even call someone because my phone's in the other room and I don't want to walk past it. So I go back in my bed. I like huddle down. I'm a grown person. I have a black belt in Taekwondo. Like, I'm not a sissy. I'm not going to be afraid. I felt like this was something I couldn't handle. And I laid there for a while. And finally, I just couldn't take the noise, and I had to see what was happening. And I summoned the courage somehow, and I walked past it all, and I swung the balcony open, and I stood out there, and I spoke to him. I said, I'm sorry that I wasn't here. I'm sorry that this is such a hard life, and I'll never forget you. And I thanked him for reminding me that I have it good. And in so many ways, I think he saved me. At least that's how I interpret it. I know there's a million ways to interpret this stuff, but I actually lit up a cigar, and I lit up another one for him, and I threw it into the wind, and I just sort of toasted him and acknowledged him and respected this tortured soul. And I said, there's nothing here for you. I'm sorry. You have to leave me alone. You're scaring the fuck out of me. And he did. To Rob.